everybody, in this video we'll be learning about arithmetic operators in Python. So the agenda of my video will be understanding about arithmetic operators, types of arithmetic operators, that is addition, that is represented by a plus, subtraction, multiplication, division, modulus, exponentiation, and floor division. Maybe it doesn't make any sense to you, but after this video, you are going to learn about all of these operators specified in the list. So let's get started. So I'm just going to open that Python training project in PyCharm. So here I've opened up that project in PyCharm, and now what I'm going to do is I'm simply going to declare a num1 variable. I'm going to set this to 10, and then we'll have num2, and I'm going to set this to 5. So num1 is 10, num2 is 5. So now we will create this variable called result, and we're going to set this to num1 plus num2. So I think we did this in the last video where we use this addition operator. So it's simply used to add two numbers. So in our case, we are adding num1 to num2. So what does that return? It returns 10, which is the value of num1, plus the value of num2, which is 5. So that will return 15. And now if we run our program, nothing is going to happen. We simply have to print out the value of result. So let's do result like that. And now when we run our program, we get 15. So that's what the results or sum of these both numbers is. Okay, so now let's take a look at the subtraction operator. So it is a minus or a dash. And this will just subtract num2 from num1. Sorry for that. So now when we print out result, we should get 5, which we do. So 5, like that. Now let's take a look at the multiplication operator. So again, this just multiplies it. Very simple. So we get a 50 because 10 multiplied by 5 is 50. Okay, so there we go. Now we are going to be discussing about this division operator. So actually now when we run our program, we get this 0.0. So in Python, when we divide a number by another number, we always get a float. There is even that in it, the floor division operator, which we'll discuss about later. But for now, let's just discuss about this division operator. So like I was saying, we get a float in Python. So this is because always it's not compulsory that the result should be an integer, right? It can be a float also. For example, if I said this num2, like for example to 3, we will get a float. So 3.32235. Okay, so that's what the division operator does. So before we move on to the next operator, I just wanted to share one quick point with you that if we are doing multiplication, addition, or subtraction, we will always get an integer back. And note that I'm not saying if you use a float for addition, division, or subtraction, you will get an integer back. Okay, if you use a float, you'll get a float back. So keep that in mind. But while doing division, again, like I said, it's not compulsory that the value should be an integer. So the Python interpreter just makes that a floating point number. So now let's talk about the next operator. That is going to be the modulus or the modulo operator. So basically, this is used to find the remainder of division. So let me do a percent sign for the modulus or the modulo operator. I will call it the modulus operator. And now when we run our program, we should get the results as 1, right? And that is because the remainder over here with these both numbers, after we divide it, the remainder is going to be 1. But if I, for example, change that to a 5, now the remainder is going to be 0, right? You can just play around with these operators now. Now we will talk about exponentiation operator. So right here, you have two asterisk signs or two stars. And basically what this, let me just change that to 3 again. So what this does is that first we have num1 here, right? And this num2 specifies how many times you want to multiply this num1 by the same num1, right? If that is a little bit confusing, let me show that here. So I'm just going to write a multi-line comment. Again, I've already explained about all of this stuff. So in our case, num2 is 3. So because num2 is 3, it will be like 10 multiplied by 10 multiplied by 10. Okay, so it's 3 times. And this will equal 1,000. 1,000. So what this does is it first multiplies 10 into 10, which results in 100. And then 100 into 10 is, of course, 1,000. So now when we run our program, as you can see, we get 1,000. For example, if I change this num2 to a 4 and run my program again, we get 10,000. That's because it just adds this thing multiplied by 10 again. Okay, so 1,000 multiplied by 10 is, of course, 10,000. Okay, let's move on to the next operator, and it's going to be the integer division operator. Okay, I talked about it a little bit while I was talking about the division operator. So this integer division operator is done by using 2 slashes. In some other languages, these 2 slashes simply specifies a comment, but in Python, of course, as you already know, a comment is a hashtag. So this is the integer division or the floor division operator. So floor division simply means that that it rounds it off to the nearest. The floor division operator simply rounds the result to the nearest, the result down to the nearest whole number. So actually, now when we run our program, it says 3. But if this was to be the normal division operator, it says 3.3333, how many 3's there are, and then at last a 5, right? So that's why we use the integer division operator for the floor division operator. So with that, I hope you have understood about arithmetic operators in Python. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time.